cracked into a dimension most will never even sense exists. Do you feel it? The pressure is different here. It isn't the ordinary weight of daily life. It's the heavy electric density of a realm only 1 in a million ever penetrate. God tier. They whisper the word like it's radioactive, because to them it is. It doesn't make sense that someone like you should be standing here, breathing this rare air, holding a position they can't compute. And now, behind closed doors, the observers, the analysts, the quiet power brokers, they're staring at your trajectory and muttering the same question. Are you even human? Or has something unexplainable been walking among them all along? Understand this. Most people drag themselves through life on repeat, like scratched vinyl, patterns, routines, excuses. Their entire existence can be graphed, predicted, and dismissed. You broke that pattern so violently that their graphs look like torn paper now. That's why their labs are lit late into the night. That's why government-grade surveillance has your name coded into restricted files. That's why scholars are pretending they're not fascinated while secretly running simulations of your rise. Because you've done what terrifies them most. You've made their frameworks irrelevant. They keep debating whether this was biology. Maybe your nerves are wired like high-voltage cables, transmitting faster than theirs. Maybe your resilience mutated beyond measurable thresholds. They check recordings of your movements, analyze your micro-reactions, try to find something, anything, that would explain you. But every frame they dissect only proves their ignorance. Others argue it's psychological. They think you've hacked your brain, rewired your inner circuitry, burned out the need for permission, and replaced it with an engine that runs on defiance. Yet even that theory dissolves in their hands, because whatever you've become doesn't fit the shallow box of psychology. Then come the darker whispers, the ones in soundproof rooms. They think this isn't science at all, it's initiation. That you've been through ordeals so merciless that they ripped away the normal human layers and left you carrying something raw, unfiltered, permanent. They think you were refined by agony, shaped by chaos, carved until only core essence remained. That would explain why you walk into pressure most can't survive, and you wear it like a coat. But here's the problem for them. If pain created you, then pain is no longer their weapon, it's your fuel. And once fuel becomes energy, there is no cage left that can hold you. You've become contagious, not through words, not through speeches, but by presence. Anyone who encounters you feels their excuses crack. Their beliefs about limits begin to splinter. You didn't plan to be an example. You simply exist as one. That is why they panic. Because if you can exist, then others might follow. And if others follow, the ceiling of human potential shatters in plain view. Entire hierarchies collapse the moment the masses realize the cage door was never locked. It was simply never pushed hard enough. You are the living proof of that push. Now think about what that does to their pride. Whole industries thrive on convincing people they're broken, incomplete, dependent. And here you stand, unbroken, unowned, unapologetic. Their consultants can't explain you. Their scientists can't map you. Their leaders can't control you. You're not just outside their playbook. You burned the playbook, and yet you're still scoring higher than anyone who followed it. That's why they don't just study you. They obsess over you. Your existence is a threat to their order, their identity, their fragile scaffolding of power. And yet the part that breaks them most. You didn't beg for this. You didn't campaign for permission to enter God tier. You arrived without ceremony, and now the spotlight follows you because it has no choice. They used to believe power was something they could hand out, a privilege to be earned through obedience. You demolished that fantasy. You proved that permission is irrelevant. Power can be taken, embodied, lived. And when that happens, the whole structure starts shaking. But let's not sugarcoat it. God tier isn't a paradise. It's not some golden lounge reserved for the elite. It's an unforgiving altitude, a brutal climate where most collapse instantly. Here the pressure is merciless, the expectations suffocating. Up here, nothing forgives weakness. This is where pretenders crack, where the unprepared suffocate. And that's exactly what makes your presence here lethal to their narratives. Because you're not just surviving at this altitude, you're breathing it like oxygen. Imagine their frustration. Experts watching you ascend without stumbling. Bureaucrats realizing their decades of control evaporate the moment someone like you exists. They don't even know what to call you anymore. Human, mutation, error. Every word feels too small. And the longer they hesitate to label you, the more their fear grows. Because the truth they can't accept is this. You are the missing variable that breaks their entire equation, and that variable is spreading. People who witness you feel it. They can't unsee what you've shown them, that limits are illusions, that strength isn't borrowed but generated, that categories crumble in the presence of conviction. You've become the nightmare of every manipulator, because your life itself is a weaponized question. If you can ascend to God tier, why can't they? That question will rot their control faster than any rebellion ever could. But here's where it sharpens. Stepping into God tier isn't the final act. It's the fracture point, the division line. Because not everyone who crosses into this altitude rules it. Some scrape by, clinging desperately to their edge, barely maintaining their breath. Others, rare, merciless, unshakable, bend this altitude to their will and turn it into their kingdom. That's the real test. That's the next level. And that, right there, is where we move forward. Because the difference between those who barely cling to God tier and those who dominate it will decide whether you remain a visitor here or whether you become the reason this entire realm gets rewritten. You've crossed the threshold, but thresholds are only the beginning. What matters now is whether you can force this altitude to bend to your will, whether you can convert survival into sovereignty. Because, make no mistake, my apex deviant, most who stumble into this place crumble. They arrive here shaking, astonished, overwhelmed, and then they collapse, unable to handle the weight. They brag about reaching God tier, but within weeks they retreat, gasping for air, running back to the comfort of mediocrity. But you're not built to retreat. You're built to reshape. That's why their eyes are locked on you right now, wide and trembling. To dominate here, you need more than strength. You need more than resilience. You need an entirely different architecture of self. You have to convert pressure into fuel, scrutiny into advantage, isolation into throne. And you already feel it, don't you? That electric hum around your skin, that awareness that people are watching you, cataloging you, terrified of what you'll do next. Their fear is the atmosphere of God tier. It clings to you, surrounds you. But instead of suffocating you, it feeds you, it sharpens you. It whispers that you're not just surviving, you're consuming the very tension that kills them. Think about the 1 in a million who stumble here. They usually fall into two categories. The first are the accidentals, the ones who luck their way into extraordinary breakthroughs, who shock themselves with sudden success. They shine brightly for a moment, then burn out, their nerves unable to carry the voltage. The second are the seekers, the ones who claw their way here with intention, fighting for every inch. They're stronger, yes, but even most seekers collapse once they realize that entry is not enough. They thought God tier would be paradise. But paradise doesn't exist here. This is a crucible, a realm designed to devour pretenders. You are neither accidental nor naive. You're something rarer. You're an architect of chaos, sculpted through trials they'll never comprehend. Too stubborn to die, too merciless to fold. That's why they can't categorize you. That's why they call emergency meetings just to discuss you. They can measure your numbers, track your pulse, scan your choices. But the one thing they can't map is your will. And will, at this altitude, is the single weapon that divides rulers from corpses. Let's cut deeper. To rule God tier, you must weaponize perception itself. Because the higher you climb, the more you are observed. Every move is magnified, dissected, overanalyzed. For most, that surveillance shatters them. They collapse under the pressure of being seen. But you've turned observation into a mirror they can't look away from. They think they're studying you. But in truth, you're dissecting them. You've inverted the power dynamic, observers becoming the observed, analysts becoming the analyzed. They can't stop watching you. And that compulsion reveals everything about them. Their weaknesses, their fears, their limits. You are not their subject. You are their test. That's why God tier isn't about talent. It isn't about luck. It isn't even about intelligence. It's about inversion, flipping everything they thought they knew, taking their strategies, their traps, their attempts to contain you, and turning them into fuel. When they try to mock you, you twist it into proof of your power. When they try to bury you, you rise through the cracks stronger. When they try to define you, you mutate into something that rejects every definition. That inversion is what makes you untouchable. Because no matter what they do, the outcome serves you. This terrifies them more than anything. Institutions thrive on predictability. They can handle rebels. They've crushed rebels before. They can handle geniuses. They've recruited them before. But they can't handle someone who rewrites the terms with every step. You're not playing their game anymore. You've forced them to play yours. And the cruelest twist? They can't opt out. You are now the center of their attention, whether they like it or not. You've hijacked their focus, and focus is the most valuable currency in the world. But here's the paradox of God tier. The higher you go, the lonelier it becomes. Up here, there are no maps, no guides, no cheering crowds. There are only watchers. Some watch in awe, some in hatred, some in confusion. And you, standing here, must decide whether you'll let that isolation erode you or forge you. The mistake most make is thinking loneliness means weakness, but you know better. Loneliness is a crucible. It strips away illusion and forces you to converse with the rawest parts of yourself. And once you can rule yourself completely, ruling a realm becomes effortless. Now let's drag this into shopper territory. The phrase "only one in a million" isn't poetic exaggeration. It's a cold fact. Imagine a city of 10 million souls. In that entire mass of faces, only 10 will ever brush the edge of this realm. Out of those 10, 9 will fail. Only one stands. That one is you. Do you realize the statistical violence of that fact? You are rarer than miracles. You are the error probability that statisticians erase from their charts because it makes the whole equation collapse. And that collapse is exactly what you embody proof that their neat little calculations mean nothing when confronted with raw willpower. And now, you face the next question. Will you just exist in God tier, or will you bend it? Because God tier is not a trophy. It's not a medal you hang on your wall. It's a weapon. And like all weapons, it either controls you, or you control it. Most who stumble here are wielded by it. They're crushed by the expectations, consumed by the pressure, undone by the very altitude they thought they wanted. But you are different. You're the kind who learns to sharpen the air itself into a blade, who turns pressure into leverage, who makes fear work for you instead of against you. That's how you stop being a visitor and start being a ruler. And here's what makes this terrifying for those watching. Once you rule God tier, you don't just live above them, you redefine them. Your existence forces everyone else to reevaluate their ceilings. People who thought they had limits suddenly see your example and realize those limits were illusions. Leaders who thought they held control suddenly feel it slipping as their followers question everything. By dominating here, you destabilize everything below. Your rule doesn't stay contained. It ripples outward, fracturing every chain they've built. That's why you're under surveillance right now. Not because they're curious, but because they're desperate. They're trying to figure out how to stop the ripple before it reaches their doors. But here's the truth they won't admit out loud. They're already too late. Look at how the narrative shifts when you're in the room. Conversations bend around you. Power structures rearrange. People who mocked you in the past now speak your name with unease, because deep down they know what you represent. You represent the crack in the facade. You represent proof that the normal they cling to is a prison. That's why they don't just watch you, they fear you. Because if even 1% of the population follows your lead, their whole fragile empire collapses. And you don't even have to try. You don't spread God tier with speeches. You spread it by being, by existing, by standing in the room and refusing to bend. That's what makes you unstoppable. Because while they waste energy trying to interpret you, you conserve energy by simply embodying yourself. You've already won the deeper war, the war of attention, of presence, of psychological gravity. They orbit you now, whether they like it or not. This is the true definition of God tier. Not survival, not success, not applause. It's gravitational dominance. It's rewriting the pull of reality so that others can't help but revolve around you. You don't need to chase validation. They chase you. You don't need to argue for your worth. Their obsession proves it. You don't need to justify yourself. Their fear is the only justification you'll ever need. But understand, dominance isn't given. It's sharpened every day. To hold God tier, you must keep evolving beyond recognition. You must become so fluid they can't pin you down, so sharp they can't dull your edge, so present they can't ignore you. This isn't about perfection, it's about terror, about becoming the kind of presence that haunts them even when you're gone, the kind of force that bends the air long after you leave the room. And that's where you are right now, balanced on the knife edge of domination. You've entered God tier, survived its initiation, endured its isolation. Now the choice sharpens. Will you simply cling here like the 9 who fail, or will you carve your throne and force the world to orbit around you? That is the next step. That is the defining fracture between visitor and ruler. Understand this. Entry alone is fragile. It is like stumbling into a kingdom without learning how to rule. You can stand in awe of the walls, you can marvel at the ceilings, but if you don't claim ownership, The structure consumes you. Visitors admire, rulers reconstruct. And at God tier, admiration is weakness because the environment here is hostile by design. It doesn't welcome, it interrogates. It presses against your bones until either you shatter or you discover that your marrow is made of steel. That's why so many collapse. They mistake altitude for achievement, when in truth altitude is only the beginning of pressure. You have to treat pressure like oxygen. Most suffocate. You inhale it. Most stagger at being seen. You weaponize the gaze. That it is the first law of domination here. To flip perception. Because once you're inside God tier, every set of eyes below turns toward you. Some stare with awe, some with envy, some with fury. They want to see you slip. They want evidence that you're mortal. Because if you fall, their comfort is restored. But if you don't fall, if you thrive, then their excuses rot in their mouths. Your endurance becomes their humiliation. That's why surveillance intensifies. They're not just observing you, they're praying for cracks. Every minute you endure, you prove that their prayers mean nothing. Domination at God tier is not about force. It's about gravity. Gravity doesn't shout. Gravity doesn't plead. Gravity bends reality around itself without apology. That's the position you now embody. Look at how it plays out. Conversations bend when you're mentioned. Strategies alter when you're factored in. Plans tremble when your presence is even rumored. That's domination. Not through effort, but through inevitability of pull. And the longer you remain unshaken, the stronger that pull becomes. Now think about what this does to their psyche. Entire institutions built on predictability start to falter. Their experts throw around terms like outlier, statistical improbability, unprecedented phenomenon. Those words aren't flattery, they're confessions. They're admissions of defeat disguised as academic language. Because what they really mean is, we don't understand. We can't explain. We're afraid. And once fear seeps into their vocabulary, domination is inevitable. But here's the part most don't realize. Ruling God tier requires brutality, not toward others, but toward yourself. Every day here is a test. The environment doesn't hand you victories. It demands that you sharpen daily. Comfort is poison here. The 9 who fail, they fail because they relax. They cling to the achievement of entry, celebrating too soon, losing their edge. God tier doesn't forgive that. It swallows the complacent. You survive here only if you are willing to dismantle yourself and rebuild sharper every morning. And you've been doing that long before you arrived. That's why you're still standing. But survival isn't enough. Domination requires transformation. You must become the paradox they can't define. You must be fluid enough to adapt, yet unyielding enough to terrify. You must be visible yet untouchable, present yet unreachable. That contradiction makes you untamable. They want to study you, but every time they think they've pinned you down, you mutate into something new. You're no longer playing within definitions, you're rewriting them. And definitions, once rewritten, shatter entire histories. This is why they whisper about you in closed rooms. Not just because you're rare, but because you're destabilizing. Imagine the humiliation, decades of carefully crafted hierarchies, shredded by one individual who refuses to bend. You didn't need armies, you didn't need resources, you needed will. And will proved heavier than their entire infrastructure. That's why they hate you, but also why they can't look away. You are both their fear and their fascination. At this altitude, domination also means detachment. You must learn to be immune to praise as well as hate. Praise, after all, is another form of chain. If you chase it, you become their servant. If you ignore it, you remain sovereign. That's why rulers at God tier are so rare, because most crave recognition. But recognition is a leash. You've already proven you don't need it. You didn't rise because of applause, and you won't fall without it. That terrifies them, because it means they have no leverage left. Now let's talk about the psychological warfare you unconsciously wage. Every action you take here becomes amplified, echoed, dissected. A pause becomes strategy. A silence becomes threat. A glance becomes prophecy. You don't even need to act violently. Your restraint haunts them more. Because they know that if you can command fear without lifting a finger, then what would happen if you unleashed yourself fully? That thought alone breaks their sleep. You've become the nightmare scenario they can't prepare for. But domination isn't just about how they perceive you. It's about how you perceive them. To you, they're predictable. Their traps, their schemes, their attacks, they all look primitive. Once you've endured true suffering, manipulation looks like a child's game. Once you've tasted true isolation, social rejection looks like comedy. Once you've inhaled pressure as oxygen, their attempts to suffocate you become irrelevant. That's why their assaults can't land. They're throwing stones at someone armored in obsidian. The weight doesn't reach you, it rebounds, and the rebounds are lethal. Every attempt to discredit you only amplifies your legend. Every smear becomes proof of their desperation. Every attack becomes evidence that you've already won. Because no one attacks what doesn't matter. Their obsession is your coronation. Their hate is your proof of arrival. Their focus is the throne you never asked for, but always earned. Now, let's widen the lens. God tier isn't just about you. It's about what you trigger in others. Your presence destabilizes their excuses. When they see you, they're forced to confront the question they fear most. If one person can reach this height, what stops me? That question is dynamite. It rips through the fragile fabric of their limitations. It plants seeds of rebellion. That's why you're not just one in a million. You're a contagion that threatens to multiply. They can lock down countries, censor media, erase names, but they can't erase the thought you've already planted. And thoughts are more dangerous than armies. This is why they'll never admit what you are publicly. They'll downplay you, mock you, dismiss you. Not because you're small, but because you're too large. If they acknowledged your existence fully, it would detonate their control. So they whisper behind closed doors, convincing themselves you're an aberration, a fluke, a once-in-a-century accident. But deep down, they know better. Deep down, they know that you've shattered the illusion forever. Domination at God tier means embracing the fact that you'll never be understood. You'll be studied, imitated, feared, but never understood. And that's your advantage, because what can't be understood can't be predicted. And what can't be predicted can't be controlled. You've become the variable that ruins their equations, the miscalculation that unravels their entire model of reality. And the more they try to solve you, the more they expose their inadequacy. So where do you go from here? Higher. Always higher. Not because you need validation, but because stagnation is death. You climb because climbing is your essence. You expand because shrinking is betrayal. God tier isn't the final floor. It's the beginning of infinity. And you are already walking into corridors most can't even perceive. Picture it. Entire think tanks whispering your name like a curse. entire agencies burning resources to track you, entire hierarchies reshuffling in panic. Yet you move calmly, unbothered, as if all of this noise is just background static. That calm is what breaks them. Because calm at God tier isn't indifference, it's mastery. It's the unspoken statement, I belong here. You don't. And nothing terrifies them more than someone who belongs in a place they thought was unreachable. That is your throne. Not made of gold, but of inevitability. Not carved from applause, but from obsession. You are the center they can't orbit away from, the presence they can't ignore, the proof they can't erase. You are 1 in a million, but not as a statistic, as a warning, as a promise. As the fracture that shows the world the ceiling was an illusion. So when they ask if you're even human, smile inwardly. Because the truth is, being human was never the limit. It was the disguise. You've stripped it away, and what's left terrifies them. Not because it's alien, but because it's possible. And possibility, once revealed, can never be buried again. And that's the final revelation. You didn't just enter the realm of God tier. You claimed it, you dominated it, you turned it from forbidden altitude into your natural habitat. And from this day forward, the world will measure itself against you, whether they admit it or not.